Now, just like anything, we have guidelines for ACLs as well. When we are creating ACLs, there's certain things we must follow. All right, so one is, how many ACLs can you have assigned? Well, you can have one ACL per interface, per protocol, per direction. So on an interface, you can have one ACL coming in and one ACL going out per protocol. So when I say protocol, what do I mean? Is it TCP? Is it UDP? Is it IP? Is it ICMP? So all these different protocols, all right, you can have ACLs for. But again, if asked on the certification, which is your goal, you can only have one ACL per interface, per protocol, per direction. Also, when you're permitting or denying in an ACL, if you start an ACL with a deny statement, the last line of your ACLs, because ACLs can be several lines long, you must end it with a permit statement. Why is that? Because there's an implicit and invisible, if you will, deny everything at the end of the access list. And when I mean the end, because again, you'll see how we create access lists in a little bit here, but they're done in lines. So if you, as an example, say access list 10, deny host 1.1.1.1, and that's all you put, if host 1.1.1.2 comes around and it doesn't make a match, because ACLs are read from top to bottom, and it doesn't make a match with that first line, it's going to go to a second line. But there is no second line. So that implicit deny is going to say, well, you're denied. So everything is denied. So you got to make sure if you start a statement with a deny that you have a permit at the very end, or else everything will be denied. And lastly, again, I think I already said this, that creating an ACL does not mean it's working. You can create 100,000 ACLs on a router. They can just be sitting there. Not until you assign it that they don't come alive. And you can assign it to an interface or a line, and we'll be doing both, because I strongly believe that you will be seeing something like this in your certification exams. All right? So that's part of the guidelines, general overall guidelines for ACLs. Now, there are some specific guidelines for standard or extended. Now, when you're creating a standard access list, a numbered standard access list, the range that you put is from 1 through 99. So you say access list, and then you pick from that range of numbers. That lets the router know, hey, this person's creating a standard access list. Therefore, I expect this type of syntax. If you try to do something else, it will give you an error. One of the downfalls of standard access lists is that you must place it nearest the destination. You cannot place it nearest a source. So if you're trying to block a user from getting to a particular server, you cannot be specific, because you can only use source addresses. So if you're blocking this user based on that individual's IP address, that's all you can use. So since you're not very specific, you must create and assign the access list nearest the destination that you don't want that particular individual to access. Okay, so that's one of the drawbacks of standard access lists, that you're going to go all the way through the network to get maybe denied anyway, because you cannot be specific in what to permit or deny. You can either deny or permit a host, or deny or permit a network. And we'll look at this in a bit. The next one is the extended. This has more flexibility. First, the range of numbers is from 100 through 199. But you can use port numbers, protocols, source, and destination addresses. So you can be very exact, very specific as to who you're denying, where you're denying them to, and what protocol and port number you don't want them to use. So you can place it nearest the source. So that's one of the good things when it comes to doing extended access lists, that you have more flexibility as far as what you want to permit or deny, all right, based on all these different criteria: source and destination addresses, protocols, and port numbers. And like I said, there's only really two types. The last type that we mentioned was named. They follow the exact same guidelines. The only difference is that instead of giving them numbers, you give it a name. All right, so these are the guidelines that we must follow for access lists.